about many things I've forgotten. But apparently he used to make a run every week up to Bolton Landing or something, and he would fill up his car with cases of beer, drive back down to Glens Falls, and I guess distribute the beer. So Phil gave us one last beer run. An old friend of mine named Ron Kirk, who lives in Atlanta, where I've lived for the last 43 years. And Ron was at the 40th, and he wanted to be here, and he couldn't make it either. He really regretted it, and he wanted me to say hello to everybody. So hello from Ron Kirk.
Hey.
Ron, by the way, is this great guy with this deep, deep voice, and he just sounds so, gravitas. And he had a show on TV years ago. He had a show on TV called Party. And it was like Soul Train, only he was the guy and it was called Party. It was a Soul Train that Ron Kirk was the MC for. The third person I want to mention is Nancy Grout. Nancy was on our committee. She really, really wanted to be here. And her husband is quite a bit older than her, and he's not in good health. And they live down in Florida, and they're in the path of the storm, so she couldn't make it. And wanted everybody for me to say hello to everybody from her, and I want everybody to kind of send Nancy and all the people in the path of this terrible hurricane your thoughts and prayers. So, we became the So What class at Principal Reichert's speech in front of all of our parents at our 9th grade graduation, and he dubbed us the So What class. And the Tam Quid Society, Tam Quid being Latin for so what, was subversively and hysterically formed after that speech by the mischievous Jack Leibowitz, who is here tonight. Jack, an eventual National Merit Scholarship winner, and the only one from our class. Personally, I think we turned out pretty good.
About to eat.
That's right.
Mr. Reichert, he just didn't understand our generation. So we believe that about 32 of our classmates or so have passed away, actually. And I wanted to just ask for a brief moment of silence in the memory of our 32 classmates who are no longer with us. So 1967, here's a few memories for you. Light My Fire, Sergeant Pepper, Penny Lane, All You Need Is Love, All Along the Watchtower, Let's Spend the Night Together, Ruby Tuesday, A Whiter Shade of Pale, Happy Together, Brown Eyed Girl, Respect, Soul Man, and I Heard It Through the Grapevine. Those were all songs from 1967, believe it or not. Television, the #1 show in America was the Andy Griffith Show. Some other shows were I Love Lucy, Bonanza, Laugh-In, Star Trek, and of course The Wizard of Oz every year, right? Everybody gathered around the electronic hearth of The Wizard of Oz. Movies. My favorite movie from 1967, The Graduate. Mrs. Robinson, I think you're trying to seduce me. The best picture was A Man for All Seasons. Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton. And my wife said, don't be political tonight, Seth. But there was one of my favorite movies from 1967. It was an Alan Arkin feature, which kind of resonates today. It was called The Russians Are Coming. The Russians Are Coming. So 1967, Vietnam was heating up. Little did we know how that would impact our lives and our country, and we have a number of Vietnam veterans with us here tonight. Who didn't get the love and respect and honor that they deserve coming back from that war. 1967, dogs roamed free. We knew the dogs in the neighborhood like we knew the kids in the neighborhood. In my end of Garfield Street, we had Mitzi and Tucker and Jody and, 1967, did we even wear seatbelts in 1967? I didn't think so.
Did you drive sober?
If you wanted an answer, you had to go to the World Book or the library. Now I pull my brain out of my pocket and I look it up. Budweiser, Miller High Life, Utica Club, Genesee, need I say more? Hart's Cafe, the Gold Shade, DeLong's Dairy, the Canteen, the Paramount, and the Rialto Theaters. Hilda Hayes. I love Hilda Hayes. Bruce Jordan. Leslie Larson, Mark Freeman, Frank Trice, Trixie. George Muse, track coach. George graduated from Emory University. That's where I went to law school down in Atlanta. Bruce Duncan, Put LeMay, Howard and Marjorie Grout. There are many, many more teachers I can name, but Janice Woodbury. Is Janice still here? Where's Janice? Janice Woodbury is here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. The former Miss Vermont, and still beautiful. Our football team, undefeated in our senior year. Ed Bartholomew, Dave White, Nick Barber, Greg Berto, Jay Taylor, Frank Pater, Jeb Hamilton. Almost all of them are here tonight. Are there any other football players that I didn't? Bartholomew was here last night. I didn't see Ed tonight.
We won every game.
So, and I think we were some kind of champion or something. Oh yeah, well I know the cheerleaders. So I'm going to actually recognize my committee, about half of which were those cheerleaders. Or not my committee, but the committee. So I want to recognize the committee that put this weekend together, including Judy Smullen Lockhart, Yuda Furka Rothke, and Yuda, who's not here tonight but was here last night, arranged for all the t-shirts and sweatshirts and stuff. She did a great job. Nancy Grout, Gwen DeLong, Steve Gorham, Dan Hahn, Jeb Hamilton, Leslie Becker, Harvey, who arranged for the shuttle from the Queen's Fair tonight. Joyce Sweeta McLaughlin, Linda Bowden-Crehack, who during a crisis found a tent for us after the first tent vanished unexpectedly. And Jane Cobb McPhillips, easy for me to say, who provide all the flowers tonight. Many of the flowers Finally, I want to give special recognition to Herb Lemon, who is our treasurer and who planned last night's event, which I think a lot of agree was a wonderful event. And Brian Williams, who managed the website, the invitations, the communications, and the name tags, and countless other incredibly time-consuming things. So thank you, Brian. And this will be the last time I'll ever speak to Ann Nolan, because she told me that if I mentioned her name, she would never speak to me. But last but not least, Ann Mason Nolan, who got what she says. She got what she said was that fateful phone call from me, asking her, "Don't you think we should have a 50th reunion?" And she, to her lasting regret, said, "Oh yeah, let's do a reunion." So, Ann arranged this party tonight, which was a huge job, and we're winning that. And so would you please join me so for our committee, and especially for Herb, Brian, and Ann. Please join me in giving them 3 cheers. Hip, hip. Hooray! Hip, hip. Hooray! Hip, hip. Hooray! So on a personal note, I moved to Glens Falls when I was 6 years old, but I've always considered it to be my hometown. I've lived in Atlanta since 1974, but when people ask me where I'm from, I always feel a sense of pride when I say I'm from Glens Falls, New York. It was a great place to grow up. It occupies a special place in my heart, as I know it does for all of you. Thank you all for coming, and enjoy the rest of the evening.